This week on NintenDomain, I got Ys VIII, and we're going to talk about Mario Tennis Aces with Kevin Fair of I Play Games.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
I don't know if I regret Mario Tennis just yet, but I might.
You will.
I need Dr. Mario.
To NintenDomain Podcast. This is episode 127. Man, we got a lot of episodes.
Wow.
We are your hosts. I'm Trey. Can't wait to ask Jeremy how Minecraft is, Johnson.
I'm Jeremy Floating Block of Obsidian Mikowski.
I'm John Classic Knitter.
And we have Kevin Fair here also to come back and talk
yeah,
some more.
No, Kevin Fair. I was going to say Kevin K Fair 3 is my tag on everything fair. No matter what. So you have no excuse for not finding me online.
Oh, sure. Is that your Switch name also?
Yep. I claimed it. Remember, they were allowing people to claim their Switch names before the Switch came out.
Oh, okay.
Like I was super on it. I was like, I got to keep this going.
Keep it consistent across the board.
Across the board.
That's the best way to do it if you can, which I can't do.
Oh, the JMax stack?
Yeah, I've got all kinds of different names all over the place on my social media.
Yeah, it's best to keep it the same, but yeah, it gets difficult depending on how you start it. But anyway, do you guys want to talk about what we've been playing this week and talk about our purchases and whatnot? I have a couple that I've gotten.
Sure.
That we can talk about
Sounds
real quick.
Good.
So Ys VIII came out yesterday on Tuesday. We've been talking about that one for a while, and it just launched on Nintendo Switch. It's a action RPG game, so John might actually like it. It's pretty good. It was considered by many to be like one of the a highly underrated RPG of last year. It came out on PS4, and now it's made its way to the Switch. Now there's been a lot of bad talk about it, I guess, as far as like the translation and the localizing goes. But there were 3 patches that were released with the game to fix the localization. So I played it for 3 hours last night, and I didn't run into any sort of problems with the localization. I didn't feel like the dialogue was weird or anything like that. I thought it was kind of funny, actually. So I haven't noticed that. Also, people have been saying things about frame rate problems, and I haven't run into anything like that either. So
is it a pretty story-driven game, would you say?
Well,
is the dialogue really important?
Well, it's somewhat. Basically, it's kind of like Gilligan's Island, the game, sort of. Like you start, it's kind of cool. Like you start off on a boat with all of the characters that you're going to meet in the game. Well, maybe not all of them, but the ones that you're going to find. You start off on a boat, and it's kind of funny because you're talking to the captain, and the captain's like, "Hey, there's this island that everybody goes disappearing every time they go by this island. It's really weird. Like I don't know why it does this." And he's like, he's like, "We're gonna go past it. I'll show it to you." And then once they go past it, they get attacked by this giant squid, and or they get attacked by these giant tentacles. And of course, the boat crashes, and they get washed up on shore. And it's it was just kind of funny that the captain's like, "Oh, hey, let me show you this dangerous island." And then the ship's destroyed seconds after he shows them the island. But it's so your ship gets destroyed. You wash up on the island by yourself, and you meet the first character, Laxia. And this game is a Japanese RPG, so this is an incredible Japanese moment, I think, or very anime moment. You basically, so all the people from the boat have been washed onto the island, right? All about the same time. You happen to walk up to this girl taking a bath, in a towel. It's what?
What kind of game is this?
Well,
right?
No, it doesn't make any sense to me because it's
rated teen.
It's you just washed onto the island the same time that I did. Why are you taking a bath? Shouldn't you be looking for food and stuff? What's
all
going
that salt
on here?
water, man.
Yeah. So you meet
salt off.
You meet her and she's wearing a towel and she drops her towel and your main character, it doesn't show it in the game, but you do see her completely nude and it kind of Oh, right off the bat, felt very anime to me. I guess at that introduction of that character, I was like, oh, wow, okay. I didn't really see that coming. But yeah, it doesn't really make sense as
All
to
right,
why
so
she's...
you're alone on an island and you're nude, and that's where the game starts.
Yep.
Good
Well,
job, Ys.
you meet a girl that's naked in a towel,
Nice.
which I don't know
Okay.
where she got the towel from. But, hey.
This
Whatever.
desert island thing isn't so bad after all.
Yeah. But then you find her, she becomes part of your party. You can switch between you and Laxia, main character, Adon, I think is his name. But yeah, you find her, you can switch between her. I found another guy, he carries a giant anchor. It's like the broken anchor from the ship. He uses that as a weapon. But each of the weapons do different types of damage. So like some of the monsters are more weak to like the sword that Alaxia uses, or like the sword that Adon uses, or Sahad, I think is the guy with the anchor. Like there's all different damage that you can do, and some are immune to some things, and so it's good to switch between people. And it's just one button. It's really easy to switch between guys. It's like I said, it's really fast. Like it plays really arcade, like controls. Like it's really easy to play, and it's just real approachable. And it's basically that's the idea. You're on this island. You need to find people, and you kind of create like a town sort of situation as you find people. Like you'll find like a blacksmith who'll like upgrade your weapons, or will make new weapons for you and whatnot. And you'll find more people to be in your party that can do different types of damage on the monsters and stuff like that. And as you go, you unlock more of the island. And I've only played for like 3 hours. From what I've heard, the island's pretty huge though, and there's a lot of stuff. Like you do get to a part that's like more open world. As of right now, I've just been finding chunks of it, but you're kind of like mapping out the island as you go. Like you won't see all of the map until you find the next different part. And it's kind of like, it's a little bit like Breath of the Wild, I guess, where stuff gets added to the map as you find it, but you don't actually add it yourself. It'll be like, oh, hey, you found this. And I think you get like some sort of fast travel eventually as well, like just from one thing to another. But I'm really enjoying it. I'll probably stream it after this or tonight, and it seems it's pretty cool. I mean, I've been enjoying it thus far. You get some DLC costumes in it too, so you can make your guy wear like weird shades and stuff like that, or eye patches or whatever. So, but yeah, that came out on Tuesday for it's full price. It's $60, but I heard it's a good RPG, good action RPG. So I've been enjoying it. So that was I got that. We got tennis. I mean, I think Jeremy and I and Kevin, we all got tennis from last week. And what else? Well, I know Jeremy got a Minecraft also.
I got the update, but luckily did not have to pay for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it is a new release technically, so you did kind of get a new game.
It's an entirely new game.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that? Because I think Ys is my big purchase. I mean, I'm planning on getting Wolfenstein on Friday if I beat if I beat Doom in time, because I'm trying to like run through Doom, and I think I only have like 2 levels left. Like I beat the Cyber Demon, which sends you to hell, and I think you got to like 3 or 4 more levels after that.
Is this your first time going to hell?
No. It's my my second time.
Back to hell.
It was because you go there earlier. But then there's the part where you fight the Cyber Demon and you kill him, and then you go to hell, and then he comes back to life and you kill him again.
Yeah.
That's the part I'm at.
All right.
And then
I noticed you were playing Doom again. I saw it pop on and said you were playing Doom.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. You're trying to beat it before Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing I did with Splatoon, where I like went all the way through the single player mode before I got Octo expansion.
Yeah, that's dedication.
So I think I've been trying to marathon through Doom because I really want to do Wolfenstein 2, but Wolfenstein 2 is probably like the same amount of gigs as Doom. So in my head, I'm like, well, I'll beat Doom, and then I'll delete Doom, and then I'll get Wolfenstein 2. So it also like kind of like gives me a goal before I get the other one. Be like, I got to finish this one before I do the next one. So I'm hoping to to beat Doom before that comes out. That's my plan for the week. Are you getting Wolfenstein 2 also, Kevin? That's how you were talking about it.
That was I actually held off. So I've played Doom on other platforms, and so I really enjoyed that experience. I think ID and them do a really good job of what they like to call their, I think it's their push forward design, where it's always like, hey, I want to keep going I want to jump off of this and go to the next thing. So had a ton of fun with that. And so I kind of felt like I would have that same kind of experience with Wolfenstein 2. But then when I heard it was coming to the Switch, I literally held off my plans on getting it on any other platform.
Oh, okay.
For this, because, my Switch is my travel system, so.
Oh, sure, yeah. No, I did the same thing. Like I played Doom on PS4. Like I bought it for PS4 when it came out.
Yeah.
But then I bought it again for Switch because I really liked it on PS4 and I wanted to support it for the Switch. Gotcha. But I never actually beat it on PS4. I played it for a while on my roommate's PS4, and then I got a PS4 And then I had to like reset the whole game, so I didn't really play it that much because I was halfway through, whatever. So then I started again at Switch, and I've actually gotten farther on the Switch than I did in the PS4 one. So I played both, but yeah, Wolfenstein I held out for because it was only like released like 6 months ago, something like that. It wasn't like a whole year or so. There's not a whole lot of time between, but I know last week we were talking about Panic Button. They say that like time's getting shorter now between like, you know, the release of whatever the regular version is and the Switch version. They think that eventually it's going to be a simultaneous thing, you know, especially now that the Switch is like the juggernaut that it is, you know, and say as far as sales go and all that, to try to release it with everything. But yeah, I didn't play any of the new Wolfenstein stuff. Like I didn't play the last one, the PS3 one, which I heard was good. Was it? So I haven't played any of them. So I'd be excited to get into 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, it looks great. I mean, people say it's good, so I'm interested in checking it out.
No, yeah, I had a couple of friends that had fun with it on I think they primarily own a PlayStation, and they had fun with the game itself. Like I said, that over the top shooting everything, keep moving, blow it up type thing. That's a ball for me. So yeah, that was kind of like a shoe-in title. I would continue to ask at stores, do you guys know when this one's coming out? So
yeah, now it has a full date, and you can pre-purchase it now too, and download it and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it's $60. So they came out at the full price. Because I remember there was a rumor at one point that it might be cheaper, and it might be through like Amazon or something like that if you get the physical version.
Yeah,
but it hasn't been out that long, so it doesn't seem like that.
I think
big
it's
of a shot to pay
months
full
or
price.
something.
Yeah.
Well, it's
not
less
a port.
than a year.
So well, it is a port, but it's almost a simultaneous release.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. And that coming out. Do either of you guys have another thing to talk about, or do you want to talk about Minecraft, like for stuff that you bought?
I got one thing.
Okay.
I got Super Mario Adventures, the comic book, for my nephew.
Oh
wow!
What's that?
Yeah, it's his birthday this week, so I just ordered it on Amazon, and it's the collection of the old Super Mario comics from Nintendo Power. They put it all into one book.
Oh, cool!
I think you'll enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the.
How big is it? Like a trade paperback like size book, or are they pretty small comics?
It's an 8x10.5.
Okay.
I was one of them myself when I ordered the book, so it should be a pretty nice collection.
I have the Legend of Zelda version of that, the one that has the Legend of Zelda comics from Nintendo Power.
Oh, okay.
There's a trade of that.
Does it say "Excuse me, Princess" in it?
No, it's not that. Thankfully, it's not that one. No, it's like the Link to the Past. It's more like the Link to the Past stuff, but it's cool. I mean, I haven't like fully read through all of it, but I thought it was neat, and I bought it from the comic store, Challengers, the comic store I go to, just because they kind of had it there, and I was like, oh, this looks cool. I should get it. But I haven't seen the Mario one yet, so
that's pretty cool.
Is Wario in there? Because I remember him being in some of the comics that I read, or is it the early? Because there were a lot of Mario comics. Like, do you know like what time frame it's from? Is it like more like Mario 3 or like Mario 1 or like World?
No, for sure. I think I saw some. I know I saw some Super Mario World in there.
Okay.
Because they had the Bowser clown car in the preview, but I'm not sure if it's the entire collection or if it's just like a volume 1 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, because I remember reading stuff with Wario in there, like in the comic. No Waluigi, of course, because he wasn't around yet. But it was like around the time of like Mario Land 2 and all that with gotcha. Wario showing
like
up.
92.
Yeah, so he might be in there. I don't know.
He might be. He could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to get my nephew books and stuff because he's learning how to read. And for Christmas, I think it was, I got him the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time manga.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, you told me that.
I think I talked about that on the show, yeah.
Nice.
I figure I might as well get him Nintendo stuff to read.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's always a good way to get him to read, you know?
Right, because he sees Mario, especially with the comics and everything. You look at the pictures and encourages him to learn how to read.
Nice.
Then later on, when he's working for Nintendo, he can be like, my Uncle John bought me these comics when I was younger.
He started it all. He had a plan.
He could tell.
And that's why he's here today at E3 on stage.
Right. Thank you.
He'd be like, hey, my uncle works at Nintendo. He brought me this book. Remember the old uncle works at Nintendo thing?
You're going to be like, my nephew works at Nintendo.
Yeah. Yeah, he told me about Mother 3. It's coming out tomorrow, dude. Check it out.
Yeah, this week I'm going to try and get the NES Classic So
yeah, so maybe this is the perfect group for somebody to share some light. I have been trying to see how do I pre-order, save one. I mean, I would go out and get it on Friday. I don't give I could care less how, but
Yeah.
I just want some level of. I don't want to go through what I went through a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Which is trying to figure that out and then having to try to.
I think it's going to be the same though, right?
I don't think there's any
I think
sort
it's gonna be
of
the same. They said it was guaranteed to be available through the end of the year, whatever that means. So I think it'll be comparable to the SNES Classic launch.
Yeah.
Which when I went for that, they had a lot of those. I mean, I think at my Target that I went to, they must have had about 150 of them. I saw the whole box and everything, the whole crate full of them.
So it's it's Friday,
I think it'll be
right?
comparable. Friday, yeah. So I'm going to go out first thing in the morning. I was going to go out Thursday night, but I injured my back, so I can't stay out all night. But I'm going to go out first thing in the morning. And there's this Target. There's this perfect area here in LA for these releases. You guys remember last time I went to this place with a Target, GameStop, and a Best Buy, all on the same block.
Yeah.
And so the Target opens at 8 o'clock. I go there first. That's my routine now. Go there first. I get that, and then if I can't get it there's two other options right in the same block. So I think I'm gonna be good. And
sometimes the treasure truck rolls up.
Yeah.
I would.
That was nuts.
Kevin, I would recommend going to the Target on Elston. I've had a lot of good luck over there.
That's funny that you mentioned that Target because in the same area in Elston is where I got another console like on release at the Best Buy.
Oh, okay,
that little area has been relatively good to me. But I mean, John, if you're seeing them if you're thinking they might be like a pallet kind of thing where a store gets a pallet of them, I'm pretty hopeful then. Like I said, I just don't want any bullshit, man. I swear to God.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well, so I was wondering,
It's
why
really
aren't they
stressful.
talking about it? Like, it's 2 days before the release, and all we've heard from them was they put out a tweet, basically. It'll be available on the 29th.
Yeah.
So I think they're very aware of the situation. They're not going to advertise for it. They know that the people who want one already know about it because of that tweet, and they'll all be lined up regardless.
Yeah.
And when we get there, I think they're going to be at least as many as there were for the Super Nintendo, which I think everybody remembers that launch was relatively smooth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was able to pre-order one for that, so that one was really easy for me.
Okay.
The only thing I'm kind of puzzled about is that they didn't add the second controller, apparently. I'm seeing, some people have, found them on the shelf already, early. Mm-hmm. And it's still just the one controller, which I think we all agree was a big mistake. They should have had two in the package. I thought maybe they would throw a second one in there this time.
No, and they probably still have the incredibly short cord also.
Short cords,
yeah. No, I don't think they're going to change the packaging. I think it's just...
Do you think there would be anything to market as a second release? Will there be some variation somewhere that you can tell? Or do you think
to see it's a
they
reprint?
actually literally had stock in reserve?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think if they're just doing... If they're not bothering to add the second controller, I think it's going to be an identical thing. And I hope it's identical because, again, the people who really wanted one, who didn't get one, like myself, we care about these things. That's a good way to piss them off by changing it. It looks the same, but it's like, 002, not 001.
Right.
I wanted this thing.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's a double-edged sword because that would make me feel good, but then I would also need to have the 002.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then you got to buy all of them all the way up to the 0000.
I would prefer, like you're saying, if it was the same.
It's going to be interesting to see because what you're probably going to find from a collector standpoint are people that are saying okay, so there is going to be a very visible difference no matter how much they try to make them the same. And I can definitely see some people saying, I enjoyed my first one having this incredible value as being the first or, wave one of it. I personally am a fan of them being exactly the same so that, because my mind always works towards, can I use this at an event and are people not going to give me crap over it not being exactly what they have at home? Mm-hmm. They're going to say, well, the one at home I have does this. And it's going to be like, I'm sorry. I didn't get the first one, wasn't able to grab that. So I'm definitely a fan of it being the same exact thing. I could also think about the other side to me that, sells things by retail. And I would be like, oh, it'd be great if I caught a hold of the first one and then I turned around and, was able to resell it, years later for something. But I'll just be happy to just get one this time. I'll just be happy.
If you want to use it in an event, you're going to have to get extension cables, or I was going to suggest like this. The 8-bit Do make wireless things, but
that wireless controller, yeah.
But
I've got a couple
those
of
are fantastic.
Yeah. They work great, but people bitch about that too. So be prepared for that, because I did for my birthday at the Owl. I did an event where I used just like a birthday thing where I had the Super Nintendo Classic hooked up, and I was using wireless controllers, and some people were complaining about like lag and all that stuff. What was that?
I beat Star Fox though. I don't think there could have been that bad of lag.
Yeah,
you did. I mean, but some people that like a friend of mine was like, "Oh no, it's laggy because it's not wired," and I'm like, "How do you know?" I think you're just saying that because you're too drunk to play.
And you guys weren't even competing in anything. There was nothing at stake, probably.
No, we weren't.
We were just playing free video games.
Yeah, we were just playing. It wasn't even. There's
always that guy. There's always that guy.
There was no competition. But a friend of mine was like, "Oh no!" She's like, "I can't get as far on Super Mario World as I normally would, and because of the blah blah." But then other people who played it got farther than she did there, so I don't know. But I understand, like, you know, some people. It's like the thing with like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, right, where everybody was all like crazy about the lag on that, like how it was like all the like re-releases on Virtual Console were like never exactly right, because supposedly you beat Tyson sometime, and you know that's what you tell people, but you can't do it now on Wii. You know, I had friends that said that, like, oh no,
you can't beat Tyson on Wii. He's not on there.
Well, you know, Mr. Dream, the equivalent, White Tyson.
Yeah, White Tyson.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I say like go to the Target on Elston when they open. Or like I went for the first release of the NES Classic, I went there a half hour before they opened, and they got 75 of them there. And that was the most that any place got that I heard. Like the Toys R Us got this down the street got 4. And like the Best Buy got 10 maybe, but they got 75.
Don't go to the Toys R Us down the street.
Yeah. Well, not now, but you know.
We're done with that. There's no more Toys R Us up here anymore. That's over.
Well,
Jeffrey said goodbye.
Yeah.
He's gone.
I think that one on Western's still open, though. I drive by it all the time, and it still says going out of business. But I think it's still open.
They're done.
They'll be going out of business for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Still going out.
Trying to sell everything.
But called Toys Used to Be Us.
But I had a lot of luck with that Target. Like I got a lot of amiibo from there too, like for early release stuff. So that's what I'd say would be the one to go to. And then in my because they normally get a lot. Like I said, I couldn't believe that they got 75 NES Classics. That was insane. I mean, and there was a line when I got there. When I saw the line, I was like, I'm not gonna get one. And they're like, oh no, we got 75. And I got a ticket, and then like 30 other people behind me like lined up and all got one. Nice. And then there was like the very last.
I'm feeling stressed out just thinking about whether or not I need to go wait in line on Thursday.
Oh, but you have one.
I'm worried that it might be 002.
But you have
one. I'm going to have one.
You don't need an 02. I mean, don't you already have like 3?
I only have 2 of the... Well, I did have 3, but I gave one to my mom and dad.
Yeah. Do you need another one to give away to people?
Well, if it's 002, it's a different one.
Yeah. I mean, maybe somewhere in the... I don't know. Don't think about it. Don't overly
I'm not seriously worried about it. Yeah. But last time, that's when I had that whole debacle where my car got hit. That's the same Walmart I would be going to, so that's another stress.
Yeah.
Stress inducer.
You don't think somebody did that on purpose? With the Star Fox 2 story where you had to go out and then come back.
Coming at me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll talk next week, of course, about whether you got the NES Classic or not. And I'm hoping that
I hope you do.
I think John's I think John's probably right. I think that they're going to treat it more like the Super Nintendo release where there's just going to be a lot more available. And I mean,
they know they're going to sell this time around for sure.
I mean, you want to make money, right, Nintendo? Like, release more.
And they're being so cautious by not advertising more than that single tweet. I mean, I don't think they even said again this week, hey, remember, it's coming back out. It was one tweet like, 3 months ago or whatever? Mm-hmm. 4 months ago?
That's it.
And that was it. So they're like, just leave it alone.
Like,
we'll find it.
Even on the website, they don't say, like, there's one splash of it that says June 29th. That's it. There's no other, like, hey, in these stores, check out these retailers. Nothing.
Nintendo is such an anomaly that I don't know. I love it though.
Yeah, how they do that. Well, I mean, even
they're just like, they're so weird. It doesn't always make sense why they do things the way they do. We all would agree, I think.
Of course.
Yeah.
But even before with the NES Classic, I remember hearing rumors where it's like, oh, we're getting it. And they didn't even say anything, saying like, oh, there's going to be a shipment at Toys R Us or wherever. Because I remember that story when I stood in line with that crazy, with the Hatchimals, where it was like the Hatchimals and the NES Classic thing at the same time. And people were trying to get Hatchimals and NES Classics. And one guy like stole a ticket for an NES Classic and tried to trade it in for an Hatchimal. It was crazy. It was like a ultimate anarchy at the Toys R Us like then. So I don't know.
So I have a question, and I just thought of this recently, but do you guys think that the NES Classic would have been as popular if Nintendo had if they hadn't done an NES shape? It seems obvious to do the NES shape, but a lot of their plug and play consoles have been like just the controller is the console. So what if Nintendo had taken the approach where it was just like an NES controller that went straight into the TV, if they had been able to make it that small, or even if they had done smaller amounts of games but in the shape of something else, do you think they would have sold as many? Or do you think the form factor had a lot to do with it?
I think form factor had a lot to do with it because the games have been available through different channels and different means for a long time. You can get it on the Wii or on the Wii U or wherever, on 3DS. Yeah. But what really appealed was it was a cute little NES. Right. And perfect replica controller, and that attention to details what won people over versus even all the other various flashback consoles that have been out, the Ataris or the Genesis. Those. I mean, they did well, obviously, but they weren't a phenomenon, and the NES Classic was because of that attention to details.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of things. I think I agree with John on the overall statement, because this is an enthusiast purchase. This is for someone who is already like, hey man, I like a lot of all things Nintendo. There's people who weren't around for the NES Classic that are a fan of or for the NES in general that were purchasers of this. So this is for the Nintendo enthusiast. And I think creating something that does, kind of have this little miniature form factor was definitely a step in the right direction. I think you also have to give credit, and I can say this from experience, having built all of these other NES mini type replicas that essentially do the same exact things, but not necessarily. You have to really give credit to them building out this really nice front end and having the games that people want to play in addition to games that they might not have gotten to play, especially when you start talking about the SNES Classic with Star Fox 2. And so I can tell you from an ease of access type thing, most people that I know that walked up and in some way, shape, or form were, big Nintendo fans would say, hey, I love having this thing on my, entertainment system, whatever. It's easily accessible and everyone knows how to use it. You know what I mean? That front end is so nice that everyone knows how to use it. A lot of times I have the issue as a game organizer, as an event organizer. If I have a machine that has multiple games on it, people get confused between going from one game to the next to the point where they just stop playing. This thing successfully kind of bridges that, where it's like there's 30 games, but guess what? Not only are you going to like every game on it, but it's easy to change between games. It's very user friendly. And I think that is what sets it above from all the other plug and play kind of things, which have these dirty, like the Atari one. Or I think it's like a multi one with like Pac-Man and like 2 or 3 other things on it. It's got this dirty looking interface that's like in standard definition. There's no pictures to say, hey, you're getting ready to play. It's one line of like words or text rather. And it just doesn't look very good. I think this was a very clean thing in comparison to those. So I definitely agree. The form factor was a part of that. I think it's just the first step. How it's better than everything else. So
that's a good point about the interface. Yeah, I didn't consider that because I've seen those NES multi-carts. Sometimes it's just a list of the titles, and
there's nothing exciting.
You're familiar with all those titles, but what if you're not? You want like a picture to intrigue you and design to bring you in.
Well, it's or even if you're trying to build your own thing, like a Raspberry Pi or something. A lot of times you got to create folders because you can only have so much in a directory, and then people have to know how to back out and alphabetically. It can get pretty convoluted. You know how to use it, but getting other people to use it freely is not quite the same.
You hit the nail on the head with it right there. Is that I've got a couple Raspberry Pis that I've repurposed for that, and I know how to use it, but I have to tell every single person this is how you go to a different game.
Oh, of course,
this is how you back out of a game.
Yeah.
And most people basically just quit after the second stage of Mega Man 2 when they realize they can't play like they used to amount of years ago.
Yeah.
And then everyone else that walks up to the station has no idea that it's a multi-cart. They just think it's some weird part of a Mega Man game, and so they kind of pass it by. So I think that the NES Classic is the perfect answer to this.
And don't forget about the amazing music that they wrote to put on the menu there.
Oh yeah.
Because, well, I mean,
music is good.
That's just Nintendo being Nintendo, though. I mean, they would write a theme for everything except for the Switch eShop. But they used to do that. They used to write songs for everything. But no, I mean, that's very much a Nintendo thing, especially with like the animations of the sprites like jumping in the background, like as you're playing the game, or like when Luigi runs out and like hits a game and it goes to a demo. Like, that's Nintendo. Like, it's like that's all their, the beauty of the details and all that stuff that they put in there to make it look so much fun, even when it's not getting played.
Just like, say they improved that in the SNES Classic. Like, it got even like shinier and prettier.
Mm-hmm.
It was just as intuitive, but now it played your like saved runs of your games.
Yeah, you could alter the demos
and stuff, and that was that's really cool. And I wish they would bring that to the NES Classic, but that makes it 2.2.
I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get, man.
Yeah. Then you'd have to.
I hope they don't bring it to the NES Classic.
Exactly.
001.
Yeah, then it would be 2. No, I think they want to release the same thing, so so people aren't. They get what they want.
I just have this theory that they've been sitting on the stock and they didn't actually make more.
I could agree with you. I actually, in some ways, could kind of agree with you on that, because guess what? I think that Nintendo does not like the aftermarket sales. I think that they're not fans of that. I think that is one, that would be my one reason in my mind that they would purposefully say, we're not going to create, Gen 2. This is all going to be Gen 1. We're not going to create 2 different generations so that one sells on the aftermarket more than the other. People are going to be just as enticed to buy the one that's on the shelf right now today. Because you got to imagine, there are going to be people who already own one boxed that are like, well, I never took this out the box, but I want one that I actually do sit down and, put on my entertainment system and play. And if they had the same exact thing with no choice, then, they go for what they go for. Versus if they're like, well, I want an NES Classic 1 that stays the exact same, they're going to go for that aftermarket one to be like, well, I still have, the perfect one that I kept. So.
Mm-hmm. That's that's what I used to do in high school when I collected toys. I mean, because I'd buy like one to keep on the wall and another one to open and play with.
Open and play with. Yep.
Yeah, when I was in high school, and I kept. I mean, now I can't afford like 2 versions of one toy, so I just get one to put on the wall. But I used to buy 2 so I could open one and keep one other one unopened. And there were people.
I definitely did that with my NES and SNES Classic. I've got 2 of each.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
one in the box, one out the box.
I got 2 SNES minis that essentially I was just like, well, I'm never going to open up this one. This one is pristine, it's perfect, it'll never get used. And then the second one is the one for people at events. Let kids fuck around with that one, man.
I did that with my Mario cereals. I bought 2 boxes to eat and 20 to keep.
Yeah.
Really? Because I was going to say, I bought 4 of those. I bought 4.
Yeah, John bought a lot. Well, John
bought a whole bunch.
Yeah,
you sent us
about $60 worth. Yeah,
that's like the price of a game, man. Imagine how much more fun you'd be having if you would have bought a game instead of that awful cereal.
But he was able to use it in Mario Odyssey.
I was able to use it in Mario Odyssey. That's right.
For what?
And I've got a completely unopened case of Mario cereal.
Yeah, that's different.
That'll be special.
I have an unopened box. I have
it's
2.
001 Mario cereal. 001 Mario cereal.
Yeah.
Right. 001.
Yeah, well, I mean,
got more boxes than I care to admit, but not as many as John.
I had 2. I ate one and I left one unopened.
I think I bought 4 and I gave my brother 1. We ate 1, and I still got like 2 down here in my room.
Yeah, they weren't great, so I don't think I'll ever need to open another one.
No, the cereal was not fantastic. It was not at all.
The taste of it is not great. Yeah,
very subpar at best.
Yeah, it was not. It's like when you buy that when you buy like the Campbell's like Mario soup and stuff like that. They don't do for soup what they do for video games. They really don't. Like, it's not. it doesn't like go from one to another. If you buy like a can of Mario macaroni and cheese, it's not going to be like this incredibly this like new crazy thing that just breaks all the rules about 3D gaming or whatever, like Mario 64 did or anything like that. It's not like
just some pasta and some sauce.
Yeah, it's not like pioneering the world of of macaroni and cheese or anything like that. So I mean, it's just in the video game world where they can wow people. But if either of you guys don't have anything else did you buy anything this week, Kevin, other than tennis game wise?
So I bought Soccer Slammers for the Switch because I am a big fan of cheap games that do really quick and fun things, and then to add on to that, I am definitely a fan of arcade style 2v2 type, crazy type fun games. And I gotta say, in a lot of ways, it kind of lives up to what I kind of expected. I'm hoping to see if more people played, they would have fun with it.
Is it compared to like Strikers or something?
No. So this is like
this is
imagine
Neo Geo, right?
Minecraft type like characters, like these like box type characters, and kind of like an NBA Jam style 2v2 quick shooting type of kind of game, which I thoroughly enjoy on something like the Switch because A, it's portable. B, if it's something that becomes popular, then people have it on their Switch. So it might be one of the types of things that I fight to make popular amongst other people.
Sure.
That's one of the things that like I kind of generally kind of like just fear and have some slight drawback is that I feel like a lot of Switch users, like the general Switch user audience, is very much driven by box titles that are going to be on the shelf somewhere that they get at the store. And then few and far in between, you find the people that are like, I kind of scour the eShop to see something that I've never played before or a game type. And so I find myself in this cool little space where it's like I'm introducing games to people, but like if they're not naturally interested or inclined to buy them, they kind of think twice about playing it. Whereas something like I always tell people, NBA Jam is great for reasons that people don't even know or understand. NBA Jam is great. No, one of the things that I think most people really don't get about that game, which makes it the incredible success that it is that the whole world was there when it came out. Everyone had it in some way, shape, or form. Even if your first impression of it was in the arcade and you were, kind of...
Or like at Pizza Hut. Like I think they had one at the Pizza Hut.
Exactly. They'll have
you just go eat
everywhere.
some pizza and it's like making a bunch of noise over there.
Yeah, and so like it's one of those games that has this universal appeal because the whole world knows about it. And I feel like I've played a ton of games that have that same kind of fun where it's like, dude, this is quick to learn. It's really fun to watch. It's fun to play. But when people are unfamiliar, they're like, I don't really know, and they don't feel the push. So yeah, Soccer Slammers is a lot like that to me, man. I think it's one of those types of things where if you got a group of friends and you can influence or persuade them to try it, it's one of those games where you guys will have an addictively good time sitting there playing around with it just because it's easy to kind of play. And the Switch does give you this nice little ability to be accessible, so even if like the four of us were at a random place, I could have my Switch and all of us could be playing.
Sure.
And so yeah, man, I'm thinking I'm probably going to try to stream this a couple times. I've got an event coming up in July I'll probably talk a little bit more about later. I think you guys will really kind of like it.
Cool.
That I am definitely going to try to see if I can get people to stop and play Soccer Slammers. But it's exclusive to the Switch, which I also really love. It makes makes people stop and say, well, there's not going to be any worries about, I like the game, I just own it on Xbox One, not that type of stuff. So Soccer Slammers, it's $9.99 I think on the eShop. Came out maybe a couple weeks ago, so check that one out.
Is there online play for that, or is it all just local?
Yes, so there's online play for it. And basically it's a 1 to 4 players kind of deal. The goalie, I think, is always an NPC. And so, CPU character.
Sure.
So, I think it's got all of the trimmings of a push them down, knock them over, super shot type, over the type arcade soccer kind of game, sports game type deal.
Yeah, I saw it on there. It completely went past me. I think it released on the same day as was it Super Sidekicks 2 for Neo Geo?
Yeah.
Soccer. Well, that's the first thing I thought of is maybe you were talking one of the Neo Geo soccer games. Because I was like, those games are cool.
Because I play a lot of the Neo Geo games on the MVS system they have up there at Emporium.
Oh, okay. Have you played NBA? What is it? Is it Street or the?
You're talking about this latest one that they've had this latest iteration of NBA Jam like games?
No, not Playgrounds. It's actually it's an SNK game, but I think it's it's like NBA Jam pre NBA Jam.
Street Hoop.
Yeah, Street Hoop.
They might be calling it Street Slam. I have played that so much, so I just Street Hoop is the American name. Yeah. Street Slam is the Euro name for it. So yeah, I've had a ton of fun playing
Street
that
Hoop.
one. That was definitely a fun NBA Jam like game.
Yeah.
But guess what? Here's my take on that. It's funny because you remember how NBA Jam used to like ramp the difficulty up right towards the end of a quarter, so you had to pump another quarter into it.
Mm-hmm.
Street Hoop is 10 times that. Street Hoop 10 times that. Like, it's like, yo, you're never going to win a quarter. You're going to have to pop a quarter in just to continue every quarter, like, you know, or every half.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like, you're not going to get away from it. So it's fun against friends, not so much against the computer.
Well, on the Switch one, you can turn down the difficulty because I did all right on it. Like I made it through like 5 or 6 teams, I think, or how many? There aren't that many teams on there, but yeah, I love Street Hoop. That was like the same thing I was kind of trying to do, like you were saying for Soccer Slammers. I was trying to get people to play Street Hoop. Like I know I made Jeremy play it when he was here, and I think
I thought it was cool.
I had my roommate play it at my birthday party, but yeah, I was like, I've been trying to get everybody to get into Street Hoop. I'm like, dude, this game is awesome because it is really fun, and I like the meter that you can build up, and then you can do the crazy dunks and all that. But it's very much like NBA Jam, except without like the licensed teams. But it's a lot of fun to play.
Street Slam when we were kids. Yeah. He absolutely hated that game. And it was always the one where I was like, let's play Street Slam.
It's good though.
It's like, fuck that game. I want to play NBA Jam.
Yeah. No, seriously. I've got like the music. I've got the original soundtrack on my computer from that game.
Cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, the soundtrack's good on that. Actually, the WART radio, the sports episode that I did, has a song from Street Hoop in there.
Yeah,
because all of it's like has like lyrics in it and stuff too, so it's pretty.
Yes,
it's pretty rad.
It's pretty hilarious. Yeah. Like sometimes when I leave my house, like I'm getting ready to go on to a long trip. I don't know if you beat the game yet, but at the end, this dude is like, "See you back on the blacktop."
Yeah,
like I tell that to my family before I'm leaving, like home. It's like, "See you guys back on the."
Nice, that's cool. You said, yeah. Yeah, Street Hoop. I should try to work that into an event somewhere. That game's great. As I said, like same sort of thing as soccer. I was trying to get people on that, but it's nice to hear somebody else that loves that game because yeah, I think it's badass.
You know how it's like.
Let's talk about Minecraft real quick because I know that's one that you didn't necessarily purchase it, but it is an update. And last week Minecraft hadn't actually come out yet, but now it has. And Jeremy's actually been posting a lot of stuff to YouTube, to our YouTube channel.
Yeah. And
you've played a lot of it, so do you want to just get into let's talk about like what's different about it, like with the Bedrock edition and all that stuff?
Yeah. So this is the Bedrock edition. I think there's been other names for it, like Play Together or something like that. I think it might be another name for it.
Well, that's been.
But this is like Microsoft owns Minecraft now, and they want to unify it completely. So like, you know, the whole Fortnite thing, where you could play like with cross systems, and they've done it a little. Didn't they do that with Rocket League too? Rocket League also. But this is completely different because like you can actually like log in with your Xbox profile. It's crazy. I'm seeing my icon from my 360 showing up like on my Switch, and it's like yeah. I'm like, what the hell's up with this? But yeah, so it's this new version, and I thought it was going to be an update to the Switch version. I started trying to record a video last week after we did the podcast. And it turns out you have to download an entirely different game. So it's just an entirely different icon. It's got a different name. I think it's just called Minecraft instead of like Minecraft Switch or whatever. Okay. And it's so far, the big thing I noticed right off the bat was that there's a lot more mobs on screen. So, you've always got randomly occurring like animals and bad guys and stuff, and there's just a lot more. So I don't know if there was like a RAM limitation before that they've gotten around, but now you're just seeing a lot more activity. Like there's just a lot more stuff to interact with because seemingly there's more memory somehow, or they've gotten around it. It also renders further, like in the distance, you can see further ahead of you, and the water has changed completely. That was the first big thing I noticed. Like you used to jump in the water and then it just would kind of like slow your character down. You could like swim, so to speak, but it was just like jumping underwater, and you could jump all the way to the top. And now you actually go to like a swimming animation and you kind of move through the water like a dolphin really fast, which is weird, but
yeah.
And now there's like seaweed underwater, and there's like a bunch of different kind of fish mobs that are just swimming around. Like I encountered salmon and like baby salmon, and so it's crazy. They just added a bunch of crap, like I don't know, dozens of new mobs, I think was what I read in the official release. But yeah, dozens of new mobs and like new biomes and everything, and I've barely seen anything yet. But basically I recorded a bunch of videos about it, and it just feels like I'm playing it on PC is like the best way I can describe it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did they update it across all versions? You said they're trying to make it all basically unified, like Fortnite. So if you try it on your Xbox, it's updated too with the basically same gameplay and all that. Yeah,
because for a really long time there's been a disparity in Minecraft. I mean, this game came out in 2009, and at first it was just like a beta. It was just like a little indie title that was free to download and whatever. We don't have to get into the history of it, but like as time has progressed, the PC community has modded the heck out of Minecraft, and thusly the developers have incorporated a lot of that stuff into the official updates to the game. And so the PC version has always been like leagues beyond where any of the console versions are. I think actually the first console version was for the 360, and the game was already like a few years old at that point. So the PC version was like way ahead at that point, and it's continued to be like way ahead. So supposedly now what this is supposed to be is that you play it on the PC, you play it on the Switch, you play it on the Xbox. It's the same across the board. So I don't know for sure. I haven't tried playing it on my PC. I do own a copy of it on the PC, but I don't know. Like it's crazy. It just seems like the Switch is handling a lot more than it was before. Like there's more stuff going on at a time, so it's pretty fun. I've had a good time with it. I've just been doing like where I'll set 3 goals per episode, and then I'll set those goals at the end of the episode for the next episode, and it kind of gives me like some direction, because that game, it's really easy to get lost and distracted. So I have 3 things to focus on, and so far not a lot different other than, like I said, there's more. The controls are a little different other than swimming. Like you used to be able to like accidentally throw your items by hitting a face button. Now they've gotten rid of that option. Like it's not even there anymore. Because jump is like different on every game, so I would try to hit jump, but that would be the button to throw away an item, not the actual jump button on Minecraft. And I'd throw my like diamond pickaxe into the lava, and it would be gone forever, and then I'd get pissed off. Yeah. But you can't do that anymore. Like they took that off the front of the controller, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good. And there's like bigger maps too, right? I know you've always talked about that, like how much bigger maps were on the PS4 or PC
I think the
or
map's
whatever.
Infinite now, as far as I can tell. Just like it is on the PC.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
It's just it's your RAM. It's as big as your memory will allow on your device. So I'm sure someone, if they wanted to, could get it to crash the Switch by putting too much in it. But I've just kind of hung out in one little area and kind of been experimenting, and like there's a thing in all the Minecraft games I've played. You can do this thing where you make a device that manufactures stone, and it works pretty much the same way in every console, or in every version I've played, console and PC, but it's different. On the Switch, it seems like there's almost like a delay in how it works, and you'd have to watch my video probably to completely understand, but like when the lava meets the water, it used to create cobblestone immediately, but now there's like a delay, and because of that, the water or the lava kind of like gets out of control before the cobblestone forms. So it's hard to explain, but it's just like some of the old mechanics don't work the same. this updated version that I've noticed. And
so you kind of got to relearn a lot of it, right?
Yeah, I'm like relearning some stuff, and it's also, I don't know, it's also exciting because there's new mobs. Like I got some rabbits that live on I have like a little island home I made, and there's some rabbits that spawned, and they started a little family, and there's like little baby bunnies, and it's kind of nice.
You don't kill them for fur or anything like that?
No, not the ones on my farm. Like the ones out in the wild, I will, but. And then I've got like a little pumpkin farm, and I've got like a wheat farm, and I started I mined pretty far down, and I don't know. I'm doing pretty good. I'm going for diamonds next. I think it's coming up soon.
Oh,
Once
wow.
I get diamonds, it opens up the whole game to doing a lot more. Like basically, once you get diamonds, you can start planning on beating the game. I just haven't gotten that far yet.
I didn't think you could.
Yeah, you can beat it. It's like it doesn't really end, but you do actually beat the game, and you get like an end screen and credits and everything.
How do you go about beating it? Like it's not like you really do anything. I thought you just survive, or can you like kill all the?
You have to find what's called
a
stronghold, and you find that just randomly because it's randomly generated. Once you find a stronghold, it's got like 8. There's like this portal, and there's like 8 spots around it, and you have to put ender pearls into the holes, and the only way you can get those is by killing endermen, so those are hard to find. But you have to get enough ender pearls to activate the portal, and you go inside the portal and you fight. You're like in this whole world just full of endermen, and it's made out of obsidian, and you're fighting this black dragon, and it's this crazy black dragon, like that's the final boss, and he's really, really hard to beat.
Yeah,
I've never beaten him before because it's hard.
Have you been to him? Have you made it to the dragon?
Only through creative mode. So if you use creative mode, you can like find the stronghold by just warping around the mountain. Then once you find it, you change it to survival mode, and then you can like cheat.
Weird. All right.
So yeah, there is an end goal, but you need diamonds ultimately to get there to make the equipment it takes to get there.
But you're going to try to get there, obviously, once you start mining the diamonds.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I'm sure you guys haven't played much Minecraft, but Minecraft is huge. So I wanted to know what all the extra stuff was.
I got into it I think 2010 is when I started playing it. So it'd been out for like a year, and when I got into it, so I've been pretty into this game, and I've taken like long breaks, but now that there's a new version on Switch, it feels really surreal to like be playing it on the newest Nintendo console, and it feel like it's the computer game.
Well, it's probably nice to have the best version, or it's a great version on the Nintendo one. I mean, there's not really a divide anymore between the different versions. Like you don't think that you're playing like a dummy down version or anything like that. It's all you can do everything on Switch that you can do on the other things, right? So,
but I recommend it if you've never played it before. It's $30. It's a pretty full game. It can be a time sink, but if you already own it, just download the update for free.
Yeah, Minecraft was the game that started all of those crafting games, like right, like
and a lot of the mining games.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Isn't Fortnite almost has to thank Minecraft because of all the
got similar things
aspects
to Minecraft as far as like its social appeal. Except I think it's more mainstream even than Minecraft was at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. Any other thoughts about the new update, the Minecraft update?
I'll probably have more to talk about next week. I'm still exploring it, but
sure.
It seems huge, and I expected to kind of think it was cool, but I'm really impressed. Like it blew me away.
Nice. Well, I want to go through the news real quick, and then we'll take a break. Here is the news. I promise you, it's the news. But there's just a couple things. Actually, most important news, I think, which I sent you guys a message about it. But friend of the show, Jeremy Parrish, his flip grip is finally in Kickstarter mode. If the flip grip, if you're not familiar, is basically a way that you can play your Switch vertical. So if you want to play any like vertical shooters or like Punch Out or anything like that, Jeremy Parrish, host of Retronauts, him and Fangamer, they made this 3D printed holder for it, but it's like better quality than if you printed it on your own. But it's $12. They've already gone past their Kickstarter goal. I think their Kickstarter goal was like 80,000 or something, and they're like 150,000 or something like that. But I guess they've already started production for it now because they reach the goals. But yeah, it's just basically a little plastic thing that you put your Switch in, and then you clip both of the Joy-Cons on the side, and you can play like Ikaruga or like Punch-Out or like the pinball games, like handheld and vertical. You know.
Wait, so now tell me this. So the games actually will switch orientation for you?
Oh yeah, no, you didn't know that? You can flip them?
You have to go into the settings to do it. It doesn't like automatically
Nice.
do
I've
it.
never. That's interesting because I've just never had. I don't think I played a single game that would play the narrow way. I don't think I've got any. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on. I think it varies for different things. Like the pinball one, I think you just have to hit the minus button and then it switches to vertical. But yeah, or like the. But yeah, there's a lot of them have that option in there for you to play it sideways, and you would basically have to like lean it on your desk or something like that, or like put it in the try one thing that we all have, you know, and suspend it like that. But I just think it's a really cool. I think it's cool that somebody made a hand grip for it. You know, that gives me like more reason to play stuff in vertical because I like playing it, you know, like as its actual handheld system. I'm not really super into the try one thing. I don't really use it very much, so I'd prefer having
it every day.
I know you do, but mine just sits on my exercise bike that I don't use. So that's that's where mine is. But I mean, I would rather have it in handheld. Like I would love to play Ikaruga like that, like with it in the full. You know, I'm definitely going to get one. They're only $12. I mean, I think it's worth it. And plus, it's it's supporting Jeremy Parrish. We like him. We met him. You met him, Kevin. He was at the at the arcade bar with us at the Midwest Gaming Classic. So I just thought it was cool that he's was so like hardcore about doing the vertical thing that he made it happen. So yeah.
Well, I remember when I went up to him, I was like, "Oh, say you had an idea about that vertical grip that you were talking about." He's like, He immediately was like, "It's not an idea. It's a product that's being produced."
Like, oh, it's real. It's real, man.
Cool. I didn't know that at the point, but
the flip grip.
Then I did, and now I know.
Now I can stop bugging him on. Now I can stop bugging him on Twitter about it because I've tweeted at him a few times. Like every time there's a game released that has a vertical mode, I'll be like, "Hey, where's that flip grip at?" Well, I didn't know what it was called actually. It didn't have a name. I was like, "Where's your handheld vertical thing?"
You actually said, "Where's that flip grip at?" And he's like, "That's a good name for it."
Yeah, that is a good name for it. But yeah, that's it doesn't have a release date yet, but they are manufacturing it. I think they're planning for like fall, probably is what it looks like. But it's cool. I'm excited about that. We talked about Wolfenstein's coming out on Friday. We already talked about that. Mario Tennis is getting a patch this Friday, which is cool. They're actually, I don't know if you guys have seen that, but they're adding a patch to where there'll be a ranking mode now, so you can actually. You can actually go higher or lower depending on whether you lose or win. And there's also penalty for disconnecting during a match. You automatically go down in your rankings. So I know people have been asking for that. So they're adding that this Friday. So that's good.
So if your internet connection screws up, it's your own fault, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of games that do that where they penalize you for disconnecting because they think that you quit on your own, which they did. If you quit like in the middle of the match, you automatically lose. But now this will actually like affect your overall like record and all that. So yeah, that's pretty rad. Rocket League got an update, 1.48. Have you played that, John, or do you noticed any differences in it?
Well, I know that they did a big one where there was a new beach level added. If that's the one you're talking about, but that was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. I saw one this week, but I don't know what one. I don't know what level. I don't know what number they're on. Which update
it might have been a minor update. Mm-hmm. I don't think there was anything too big added this week.
Sure. There's also, apparently this is a Final Fantasy survey. Did you see that? The Square has a survey that you can take. I saw it right before we started, so I haven't gotten to take it yet, but I'd like to because I want to. Apparently, we've talked about it before, but apparently Square has their own company dedicated to making Switch games, which I think is awesome. But yeah, you can go and talk about, I guess you can say what sort of games you want, but we should all get on there and vote for numbered Final Fantasies like we've talked about previous episodes, get some of that stuff on Switch. I'm actually really surprised they haven't released like the Final Fantasy 12 like HD remix or any of that stuff. That seems like something like a real no-brainer to just throw on there,
Yeah.
Or like Final Fantasy 9 or any of those other like re-releases that they did. Surprised I haven't put it on there, but maybe who knows? There's still Tokyo Game Show left in the year that there might be some announcements there. Who knows? But yeah, there's that. And there's also I found this on Twitter. It's kind of funny, but Morphe's is still going to come out, I guess, because there is a Morphe's Law icon poll. You can go vote on the picture for Morphe's Law. If you don't remember, Morphe's Law was a multiplayer shooter game where like your body parts change sizes depending on how much you shoot somebody else in that certain body part.
Yep.
It was announced on an indie thing a long time ago, maybe like 2 years ago, and I thought that it looked great, and then it like went dead silent. But now they got an icon poll, so hey, maybe it's coming out sometime soon. I don't know. It never got a release date or anything, but I'm still pouring for you, Morphe's Law. I want
to play it. It's so weird looking.
Yeah, I still want to play fucking Pocket Fighter too. That was another one that went dark. That looked really cool and then disappeared. You know. So I don't know. But that's all I really found for news. Did you guys find anything else that I'm missing?
No, I don't think so.
That's all I got.
Yeah, because there's not really a whole lot going on right now. I mean, I think the biggest news was E3 is kind of low. So, but yeah, we got a lot of good releases coming up. But let's take a break and then let's talk about tennis and events and such.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. So Mario Tennis came out last Friday, and Kevin had an event for it last night actually, which is pretty rad. It was reminded me of the Splatoon release party.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, not quite as big, but still it was cool. I missed the tournament unfortunately, so I didn't get to play. But from what I saw of them that were playing, they probably would have killed me because they seemed way better than I was. But I watched some of your stream because you were streaming on Facebook, Kevin. I watched you play it, and you've been playing some of the single player. Like, what do you think about it so far? Like, what are your thoughts on the game?
Well, the game itself is always a lot of fun. I am, I don't know. It's weird as an adult. I am, not always there for the Mario stories. Sure. I would wish that I could just, meet the challenges and play. Mm-hmm. And so that gets a little drawn out, The stages and things are nice. The game itself is fun. I think that I feel like the story does a really good job of kind of walking you up the difficulty, where it's like if you're a person that plays video games, you'll be able to kind of adapt to how they're trying to make it difficult quicker, from a campaign difficulty standpoint. So I'm not so much worried about that. I just cannot deal with so much of the talking in between. Yeah. And I get it. They worked hard on the game, so they want, it to be an experience. But I'm completing it so that I can open up all the stages for quick play.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's basically the only reason to play it. I mean, we can all agree, right, that like that you can't restart the level after you lose is like the worst fucking thing ever. Like that's really
is.
I wish you could just restart it at any point. Like,
yeah, right.
I screwed up there. I already broke a racket. Like, because I'm stuck on the spike part. It's the very first challenge you get to earn an extra racket, and like, I wish I could just like restart it as soon as I mess up. Like,
yeah,
I want to get like at least. I think you have to get like 20 or 30. I can't. It's 20. So you have to get 20 shots past him. I'd like to not break any rackets till like 12, and then I'll restart it. So after that, I won't restart it if I break one.
Yeah. So you haven't figured out how to return the power shots yet, because I know the piranha plants will shoot the power ball.
I've been fine at returning those. It's just that I always hit it. Like I do okay. I've gotten to like I think 16 is the best I've done out of 20, so I'm close to getting it. Okay. But I always I hit it to the wrong spot on the court, and I fail.
Okay, because you're talking about losing rackets, and if you don't respond at the right time, then your
racket
will
get
break.
Like 3 rackets that counts as your power meter on those challenges. So you lose a racket each time he hits a ball back at you.
Yeah, I mean if you don't hit it at the right time, if you don't time it correctly.
No. Oh, so I think I know which challenge you're talking about.
Oh no,
you're talking about the challenge where he can't return it to you. You got to hit it past him without him returning it.
Yep.
So it's not. It's 3 balls. It's not 3 rackets.
It's 3 balls. Yeah.
Okay, but you can still break your racket in that though if you don't return it. If you don't return it from the Piranha.
I have.
Yeah. So that's
the key to winning those, honestly, is lob shot, man. Whenever they approach the net, it's a lob shot. Like, you're gonna get that one every time.
Well, that's how I use the lob pretty much all the time, but there's like 1 or 2 times, depending on where he is, it'll look like he's all the way on the other side of the court, and you hit a lob, and he manages to get all the way over there and hit it somehow.
He moves.
I think what I did was I alternated between the lob and the drop shot.
Mm-hmm.
So on the one for where you have to do 20 consecutive, he just rarely ever makes it to the drop shot. I just drop shot it to the opposite side of wherever he's standing.
Yeah.
Is that down the next, or is that a different button?
That's back.
So let me make sure.
Or down.
Yeah, so that's hold X back. Yeah.
I think isn't it Y? No, it's Y. It's back and Y, or forward and Y for the lob. It's whatever the top right one is.
So drop shot.
Oh no, that's X. You're right. No, it's X. Yeah, it's a forward X or back X.
You're thinking Xbox terms right there, my friend.
Yeah, it was. It's the X one. And,
I'm looking at it right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one I had some trouble with, and then I went and beat PD Piranha after that, and then I came back and beat that one. But the 2 that I can't get past is the 300 like rally one, which I saw you beat on Facebook. Which I was impressed because I hate that one so much. I've gotten to 270. That's as high as I've gotten, but man, that one sucks. But and after that, I got stuck on Blooper when you fight Blooper right after you beat the ice hands.
Yeah.
Have you tried that yet?
No, so that's where I stopped at last night.
I hate that so much because you have to do best 2 out of 3 for sets also, so it can take a really long time. And it's on a ship, and there's a giant fucking pole in the middle of the tennis court, like in the middle of the tennis
nest.
Oh yeah,
net.
We got to go back
or the
to
mast.
playing on the ship.
Yeah, so right. It sucks. I hate that fucking pole so much because like you try to hit it and it hits the pole and it goes out and you don't get a point, or he hits it at the pole and then it bounces the other way and you don't know it's going to go there. It just ruins my day, that fucking pole. Like it really kills me. And like Blooper, I just can't. I kind of got to the point where I wasn't really having fun with the single player at all because I can't beat that one and I can't beat the 300 one. It's just kind of like, and on top of the whole like no restart thing, which I feel like that's like, I was like, did anybody test this game? Like there had to be some game testers that were like, hey man, you got to have some sort of restart thing. Like it's unfair that you got to go through the dialogue to go back to the map and then pick the level again, and then you can hit start and skip that. But it's like...
honestly, it's a waste of resources.
Yeah.
It's a waste of resources. They have to... imagine they're stopping what you're doing, right? They're stopping, gameplay itself, the stage, the characters, all those things that have to load, right?
Yeah.
To go back to, this generic dialogue, which doesn't make you laugh. It gives the users no real experience.
No.
You lost.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's indicating anything to you. It stops doing that. Then has to load all of the elements of the map again to load you saying, yes, I want to play again, and then start the story, skip the story, load the stage. It's a waste of resources. It's a waste of time and resources.
It sounds awful.
I'd say that's tedious just hearing about it.
It's awful.
It's really how it goes. It's
I understand.
Very jarring, and it like pulls you out of the experience, and you're pissed off, but like a lot of these old... It has an old school challenge factor to where you're like, no, I can do better this time. No, I can do better this time. But like, it takes you out for so long that you're like, oh my God, I don't want to read that again.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, and I understand like making the single player challenging. I mean, you should do that, but the idea is like you do have to play some levels over and over and over again. And if you watched any of my Let's Play stuff on YouTube, you'll see that I played that 300 one many times and never made it through. But it's like, it's more fun if you don't have to like do all that shit that we were talking about, going back to the map and then like picking it again and all that. I just can't believe that like somebody that tested the game wasn't like, hey man, this shit's kind of broken. Like you should really fix this. And like the GameCube game it didn't have a story mode, but if you do any of like the side challenges or whatever, you can pause and restart whenever the fuck you want. You don't have to like go back to the menu and do it. I'm like,
yeah,
I just don't understand. I mean, even something as simple as after it says game over, just saying like, do you want to retry? and then you retry, and then you don't have to go through all the other shit. That would make it like so much. It'd be nice if you could pause and restart whenever you want, but I'd be fine if they didn't have that, as long as you could just retry after you lose, because it's like, come on, guys, like, yeah.
Well, not just to beat the level is one thing, but not to mention, like, what if you're the kind of person who wants to get a high score on those particular stages?
Yep.
Like, if you don't have that quick
grind.
restart, then people aren't going to want to like grind those stages to try to get the high score. Or they might, but it's less likely to happen. Yeah,
I wish that more people have been. I mean, I've gotten some people to like when I mentioned it and said like, hey, this sucks, doing all this stuff. But people should be complaining more about that than complaining about tournament modes, or like online modes.
Yeah, because I think those can be updated.
Well, I was hoping that was what they were going to do. I was hoping they were going to treat it like Splatoon and keep adding stuff and like making it more interesting. I mean, I figured that would be the future of online Nintendo games now, where we should be like, especially if we're paying for the service, it should be like,
yes.
Game is what do they say? Game is its own platform where they just keep adding something to it, and you can just play one game forever. Like that's kind of the future of gaming. And I was hoping that, and they are going to add more characters, but hopefully enough people complain where they fix that thing in the single player, because it's really not fun at all for me to play now.
Yeah,
like I can't do it. Yeah.
Was that Project Steamer? What was it called on the 3DS? Where
Codename Steam?
Like what? Yeah, Codename Steam, where you're waiting on the enemy characters to like, do their moves.
Oh yeah, and then they sped it up.
They added the patch that let you like fast forward it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like just add something like that. Just add a little patch, or what they did the same thing with Sheldon in Splatoon 2. There was an update where you could fast forward through him.
Yeah,
thank goodness.
So they've done that before in the past. So let's hope to God they do it with Mario Tennis Aces, because it's very. If I were a truly dedicated Mario Tennis fan and stuff, I would oversee that, and I would just like push through it. But to be honest, like there's a lot of other good stuff to play, and I've wanted to like push through the mode, and I want to get everything as I go, and it's just sort of frustrating me right now. And especially since I dropped 60 bones on it, and like I should be playing this game every day. Like it's how I feel as a new game, and I don't want to play it every day.
Well, I mean,
it sounds
makes
to me
me
like
mad.
the story mode, like taking you back out to the menu and all that stuff. Having not played the story mode myself, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, is there really much story to it? Like
they tried. Oh, John, they tried. Yeah,
they tried.
They are inserting as much dialogue and this is because of this as much as they humanly possibly could. And it's kind of surprising.
Okay, well, because the gameplay, it just seems to me from watching the videos. I mean, it just seems like there's the tennis gameplay and then there's the story in between, but I don't really see how it's integrated into the actual gameplay.
I like the bosses.
So to me, like them going back every time you lose is almost like trying to shoehorn story in where it doesn't really belong.
Well, they
like, remember this is story mode.
Yeah,
you don't want to be playing tennis again and again and forget that it's story mode. So we're going to send you back to the menu,
I guess,
and have you see the story again.
But anything in the world that you run into that's a problem is solved by playing tennis. So I mean,
it's
you're going to be playing tennis anyway.
It's like it's like the Mario, the DDR Mario mix game, where like everything is solved by dancing. I was like, it's like you can't get across the stream, like dance, like you owe this guy money, dance.
An overarching reason for that, like Bowser stole the music or something like that. I can't remember what it was. There was something that made sense why everybody had to dance the music back into the world.
That was a pretty hilarious story mode, though, where it's like, can't open this door, dance in front of it. It's like, can't get across the river, dance.
I mean, isn't that what happened at the Battle of Jericho,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they solved it. Well, what's funny to me is that they're using the story mode as a means of teaching you how to play the game.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, when you turn the system on, play the game, when you start the game, for that matter, they introduce a story element to you right away, and they don't even take you to the main menu screen. They literally start you at the beginning of the story mode. And so even now where I'm thinking that where I'm, I'm kind of far into the game. I'm not, just on the first couple of levels. they're still trying to, set up certain matches that are like, learn how to do this so you can do this in the match. And it's like, yeah, I kind of learned that from just playing against other people. I don't, and maybe I try to put myself into a space where I always try to remind myself, I know there's not brand new people playing video games, but they also might be thinking about kids. I was like, they might have kids in mind for this, where they're like, kids don't know necessarily how to play games yet, let alone this game. So let's try to make this entire experience about learning how to play the game. And I honestly, I got to say, from a design standpoint, I'm assuming they're not thinking about me. They're not thinking about the 32-year-old guy who's like, I just want to freaking know the stuff I got to do to play tennis, and that's it. I don't want to know the story. I don't need to be entertained along the lines while learning. This doesn't need to be an EI Saturday morning cartoon where it's like, ooh, I'm being educated and entertained at the same time. And I think that was their goal with it. If I had to say, like, here's the goal, I just feel like it's one of those types of things. I was telling somebody this the other day. I was telling my brother, it'd be really nice is if they just compiled all the little advice things they put in between matches, like while a match is loading. It'd be nice if somebody just made a whole sheet of those and just put that online and was like, here are the tips that they try to tell you, and they give you like 2 seconds to read, and it covers everything that you want to know about the game.
I mean, I'm surprised someone hasn't done that, because I remember, like, not entirely related, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I think I've seen it on Reddit, like someone made like basically a screen capture of a battle, and then had like plain text like, this means this means this, which you would never get told in the game. Maybe you get told in between battles.
You get told you get told once.
It just was all like written on the screen there, and like very plain English, like, this means this and this means this.
I thought about doing that, but I was like, this takes way too much time. Like, I just can't. I cannot do it. I just want to play the game.
Sure. The big thing that I wanted out of the story mode was the boss battles, and I think those are still enjoyable. Like, I like the ice battle, I like the PD Piranha battle, I like the mirror battle in the Haunted Mansion. So that's really cool, but a lot of the side stuff is just, I don't know. On the same subject of you saying, like, for help bringing the kids in, some of that shit is like, I don't know. I think my nieces and nephews would be like, fuck this game. It's too hard. Yeah. They would have they'd give up pretty quickly after the tutorial stuff, I mean,
I think it depends on the F word before, but they're like, fuck this game.
Yeah.
I think it's a competitive thing. Like, it's like, that's what the real appeal of the game is, like facing off against friends and online opponents. The story mode's like a little icing on top, and supposedly is going to help you be better at the single player match, which Trey kicked my ass when I played him online, so I don't know how much the single player mode had to do with that, but he knew more than I did about the controls. And I don't know if that teaches you along the way as you're like getting your soul destroyed or what, but I mean, I do think it'll make me a better player if I can get through the single player mode.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like, maybe you should do it the other way around. Maybe you should just play online on the tournament mode for a while until you get better, and then come back to the single player. Because that'll be more fun too. Because it's like,
that's what I was excited for, though. Yeah. I want those boss battles. I want those challenges and stuff. Like, those are the visually appealing things that I saw in the trailers that made me want the game.
Yeah.
Like, of course, the demo mode they gave us, I mean, that got me hooked on the online tournament mode. So I still do play that. I keep going back to that. I've gotten to the second level one time, but I'm still getting my ass handed to me.
Yeah.
But the single player mode was what I was like excited about, because that's what's new. That wasn't in the previous demo. And that's where it's like visually appealing, and I get to see these Mario characters, in a different context and interact in a different way and solve puzzles in a different way, I thought. So far, it just seems like it's really hard.
Yeah, it is. But aside from the story mode, I do think the multiplayer in itself is really good. And I think I was talking to some people at the party or at the release thing last night that Kevin threw, that just talking to him about, like, I don't know if you guys ever played the Mario Power Tennis GameCube game, but this is pretty much a spiritual sequel to that game. Like, they basically took all the moves that you had in Mario Power Tennis and expanded upon them.
Yeah, very much.
So like, in that one, you have super moves, but there's not a meter. Basically, if you return the ball so many times, your racket starts glowing, and then you have a super move, and there's two of them. There's an offensive one, and there's a defensive one. And the defensive one is basically the equivalent of, using the right stick to jump around and hit the ball on this new one, and on that, and the offensive one is the equivalent of like you hitting the ball and aiming, but you can aim in that one aside from just pointing with the stick. But from playing both of them like one after another, like they really remind me of each other, even though like the way the supers go against each other is different in this one compared to the GameCube one. But I don't know, like, do you feel like there's almost too much super stuff in the game, or do you still think it's because some of those things can get really, really heated, where it's like, you hit the ball like really far behind, or you like, you volley it, and then like you're like, oh no, he won't get to it, and then all of a sudden they do that like spin move where they go back there and hit it, and I'm like, I don't know. It seems like
it's what makes a Mario game a Mario game.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be a Mario Tennis. It would be it'd be a tennis simulator with Mario characters without that stuff.
Sure.
I think that's what gives it its magic. And I can tell you this. I know one of the things I always tell people is really cool when a game looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the type of thing that makes people stop, ask what it is,
Sure.
and then inspires them to play slightly. If it, like I said, if they were hitting the ball back and forth and, tried and true tennis strategy was, the kind of like the king of that game, people wouldn't look at it. People wouldn't look at it. They wouldn't stop and they wouldn't consider it. It's the flashy stuff that makes them stop and look at it. And I personally feel like it doesn't break the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The seesaw is, if the flashy stuff breaks the game, then it's not a good thing.
Sure.
And right now, at least, I haven't seen anything that just destroys the game where it's like, if you don't do this, you can't even play. It's not worth playing.
Have you tried any of the simple mode without all the powers and all that?
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think I have fun with it because, I've played stuff like Disc Jam and Windjammers and stuff like that and had fun with those. So I already like these like little Pong type versus games in some way, shape, or form. And so, but I honestly would never run a tournament on simple mode. I would never try to promote the game on simple mode and tell people, hey, come out, we're going to play simple mode.
Sure. Yeah, actually, I noticed this, I didn't want to forget to bring this up, but I find it weird that you can't do a tournament mode locally on here. And I noticed at the thing, you kind of had to create your own tournament mode because you could only do an online one. That was kind of an interesting choice in making the game to not include that. Like, I don't really...
I actually saw someone on Reddit, because, I read the Switch subreddit, and there was one of those threads where they were complaining about the game, and they're like, there's no way to do a local tournament, and then someone's reply was just a grid of a tournament.
Yeah, you just got to do it on your own.
Well, here's the thing. So this is what you got to like about the online tournament or the tournament mode that you cannot get while you play locally, which kind of caused me to make some rule changes last night. When you play against other people locally, you cannot mirror match characters.
You can?
I know that there's going to be a ton of people that are going to want to say, hey, I like this character. I want to play this character against other people. My solution for it last night was that we played character lockout. So you played a character and you had to, you would play best 2 out of 3. You would have to lock out the character you just used. So, say for instance, me and Trey are getting ready to play, and both of us like Boo because right now I feel like Boo is like the best character in the game. Mm-hmm. We would be at a standstill because it would be like, well, I want to play with Boo. Well, yeah, I play with him too. And right now you cannot mirror match people. On the online tournament, you could actually play against yourself in some way. I haven't seen a whole lot of it happen over and over again, but yeah,
it's happened to me.
You can't have mirror matches locally, which is crazy.
That is crazy. There'd be different.
If you would figure that you just can't play mirror matches, then don't play mirror matches, period. Yeah. Or you can play mirror matches across the board. So I have no idea why that is.
Damn, though.
I might try the local play with somebody else to see.
That diagram doesn't solve that problem.
Not at all.
Yeah, that's weird. Is it because they don't have different skins of the characters or what?
That'd be my only guess, but I mean, they don't have different skins of the characters when you play online, so it's like it's not hard for you to keep up. The only thing I could imagine is that if you're playing on the same system, that might be kind of confusing if you're both looking at the same TV. So,
Yeah,
like
but
I said, the one thing I'm going to check, and I might use my other switches for it, is I might cop another copy of the game and then try to see if local play allows you to, basically mirror match. And then maybe that might solve the issue. But yeah, I've been making people lock out characters because I got a pretty good feeling a lot of people are going to play Chain Chomp or Boo. But people like their characters in this game. Character loyalty is really important.
I like Waluigi a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually had a lot of fun playing him, and I laugh every time I see that.
I did the best with him on the demo mode. Like he's the one I won the most matches with.
Yeah. Okay.
I did good with Chain Chomp too, but I think it's because he takes up most of the court. Is what I was thinking, that it's really easy to get around with him, and it's hard to get a ball past him because like his ballness is like taking up half the court. But I would think that you would be able to that you could do mirror match though because of the split screen, which is interesting too.
I mean, it would make sense. I mean, like that to me, I thought, I just don't see it being that big a deal. I remember playing Mortal Kombat 1 and the difference between player 1 and 2 was like almost minimal, and we still got over that. So I just don't see how this. I don't know why. I have no explanation.
Yeah, that's strange. And I find it weird that there's a split screen mode in this. I mean, it's good because I like always being at the back, but
it is good.
I've seen some people complaining about it because they wanted to both be on the same screen. I'm like, but you don't want to be the guy that's like on the other side.
Exactly,
like you don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that.
What does that do to your control inputs?
Yeah.
That makes your control inputs
backwards,
different than everybody. Than when you're on one side or the other. It doesn't do a good job of teaching you how to play the game.
I mean, whoever gets to serve first, even if you're switching courts, like they've got the advantage.
Yep.
What was probably like the most interesting play you saw like last night from watching the tournament? Was there any like crazy move that you didn't know you could do, or like just I don't know, some really close matches? I only got to see a little bit of it because I was kind of late, but
we had a couple of guys that they probably went for about 25 minutes. And their full set took about 25 minutes, man. They went back and forth on Deuce maybe about 10 times, man. Yeah. But I don't know. I just right now, I'm looking for a reason to not play Boo. Like I can't. It's really hard for me to see how other characters kind of compare to his Slice. And my fear is that Nintendo is not a competitive balance type company. They don't be like, let's go and try to like balance this game out. Some people are complaining about this. The only thing that they've, done something like that in recent years is with Smash Brothers. But Boo's Slice is crazy. Boo has a crazy slice shot. His slice makes you really respect the entire half of the court. It could come at you and then leave you that quickly. It's basically a curveball that covers the entire court, and I'm deathly afraid of Boo's slice.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's like it curves a lot, and maybe that's why I can't beat the 300 rally one with him because he throws a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just 300, and plus, I complained on online about the about Blooper, and apparently after Blooper, there's a 400 rally one. So I'm like, oh my god, I can't do 300. There's no way I can do 400.
Blooper is eventually going to be a playable character, I think.
And he's going to be in the tournament or something like that in the next couple of months or something.
Yeah, they're going to add him, Blooper, in the future. There was also supposed to be on the E3 one. They said that like Paratroopa or something was going to be in there,
really?
depending on like how much points you got in the demo, but I haven't seen him on there yet. Like they said that he was going to drop early, like if you had scored a certain amount of points, like from playing the demo mode. But I never saw him, and you guys haven't seen him either. So maybe he'll come with the patch tomorrow. I don't know, or the patch on Friday.
So Trey, I don't know if you noticed this or not, in that 300 consecutive returns. One thing that helps is if you try to get full charge on your shots. Yeah. They will give you 10-point bonuses on some of those.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. I figured that was a counting thing, because like it'll be like you got the 10, so you get an extra 10, and if you get to like 50, you get like an extra 40 or something like that, and that really helps. So you don't actually have to hit it 300 times, thankfully, and that's how I got up to 270. But I still I still choked
right
at 270. Yeah. It's hard, man. And I was watching, like I said, I was watching you do it, and there was a lot of times where I was like, oh shit. But you got that you got like the duck and run thing down, or like the roll move as I call it, where you use the right stick. But you were telling me last night you got to hit that like right when you see the ball going past you, otherwise you won't get there. Like you got to be real quick on it. And I think I'm just too late.
It definitely is one of those types of things where like it's easy to kind of like get lost in that second that you hit the ball back. You're returning it, and you're like, "Ooh, I got a good return," and then you forget. It's like, "Oh, let me like get ready for the next shot."
Yeah,
because if you do a good job at being prepared for the next shot, that's how I've noticed more people like get closer to getting their full charge on shots. It's like when they reacted to it perfectly, got in position, and started charging, they get their full charge, and that generally puts you down the right path to scoring points. So
yeah. And you want to build up that meter too, so you can slow mo if you need to.
But you can do the focus shots like without like doing the super shot, which I mean it's kind of obvious because they show that in the tutorial, but I had forgotten that until recently. Where
you're talking about the double tap?
Yeah.
Are you saying like
also just using the R like when you go to like the star section and then you can do the focus shot where it takes away some of your meter, but
yeah.
Oh no. So here's what I'm saying. Not a max. So when you get the full blue thing and you get to go flipping through the air and stuff, that's the max charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the zone shots, the one you're explaining, the zone shots.
Zone shots, right.
Zone shots, you can, like you said, get to the star. It uses a little bit of meter. Charge shots are when you start winding up before the ball gets to you.
Yeah.
And it does a little what-ting.
Basically, the button before they even like make contact with their racket.
So yeah, and if you don't double tap it, if you charge it up and then let it naturally swing and hit it, the nice thing about those shots is that it pushes your opponent back, no matter what, no matter how they try to return. Even if they get a full charge, it pushes them back and puts them out of position.
Okay.
If you just double tap it, they return it faster, but you don't get to push your opponent back.
Okay.
And pushing your opponent back, is critical because it puts them out of position for the next thing you're going to do.
Right, you can't like get back to the center of the court in time.
Exactly.
Well, then you can drop shot them.
Which that's happened to me a lot in tournament mode.
And that freaking boo slice, man. He pushes you back one time, and then he's going to be like, guess what? I'm slicing this to the other half of the court.
Yeah.
You're just not going to you're going to have to either waste meter trying to get to it by slow motion it, or just eat the points, eat that 15 points.
Yeah, no, I mean there's a lot of strategy to the game, like for multiplayer, and I think that's its biggest strength, and you should definitely stay with it for that. I think that's fun, and and
I've played it.
Like I said,
I said at the top of the show, maybe I regretted it, but mostly I just regret because it's time and time again we keep being told like we're getting it's going to be like the RPG elements are coming back, and ever since Mario Golf on the Game Boy Advance, like that's just not been the case with any of these games.
Well, yeah. Well,
once again, I'm disappointed by the quote unquote RPG mode, which has me leveling up stats, random like whatever leveling base they have set up as I play the same thing over and over again, and don't really know how to be better.
Yeah, it's basically just. It's just stats and leveling up. There's not really like an open world that you can walk around.
So really, do I have to play this match 60 times in a row so that my stats are good enough?
So your stats go up so you can get better at it. Yeah.
That's pretty much,
something about these stats that actually makes sense because I have no control over them.
I don't feel any different in the stats.
Well, you're supposed to be able to run faster, right? Or you have higher agility or whatever.
Because it says explicitly, like, if you're having trouble with something, play other things and then come back to it. But I don't want to do that. I want to unlock as I go.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna try it a few more times. It just where I'm stuck at in the single player just really bones me out because I'm kind of like I just feel like I can't progress any farther.
I'm playing it I love it that I've got now I've got this and I've got Fortnite and I've got Splatoon and I can just pop between the three of them. If I get sick of the online mode in one game, I go to the other game.
I
go to the other game, and I can just bounce back and forth as I play. And so that's kind of fun that the Switch has gotten that sort of thing going, where it's this quick jump multiplayer content that I really like.
Oh yeah. That's why I don't get physical copies, so I can just change from one to another without putting a new card in there and all that. Because it's I know people love the physical, but I like the digital.
That's the silver lining here. It's another another online game to jump into and try to increase my ranking in.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just more. I mean, I guess it's a good problem to have a lot of different stuff to play. Did you fall asleep over there, John, or do you have any thoughts on tennis from us saying all this
I'm
stuff?
just listening. I haven't really played the game much beyond the demo and getting to try it the other day at the show. But the story mode and everything, I was just thinking, how could they improve it? And
check it out.
Hear me out for a second. What if they did a combination of all the Mario alternative games with like the centerpiece being a genuine Mario game with Mario's story? I mean, like, combine everything Mario all into one.
Oh, you want to make it into like a Yakuza game?
Mega Mario.
Mega Mario. I want to be like, so you're going to the Mario tennis match, right? Well, you got to drive there in your Mario Kart, right?
Yeah.
So like, and then like between is like an actual Mario story, like Mario RPG. And throw in the basketball game, why not? Mario Strikers, Mario Golf, all in one. He's got to win, like, the story is he's got to win every tournament and every sport.
At one
game,
point,
whatever.
Mario's missing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everything,
all in one.
If you guys ever played the Yakuza games, that's kind of how those games are. Like, there's the regular mode where you go through and you follow the regular story, but you can go to a batting cage and, like, play baseball for a while. You can go to a golf court and golf. Like, they just need to make an open world Mario game where
it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto 5 a little bit.
Yeah, but you can't go golfing in Grand Theft Auto 5, I don't think. Or go hit baseballs, or right? I mean, you can go bowling.
There are like
too.
many games of different varieties.
Or you can play darts and you can play pool, or you can go get a massage. There's like all this stuff
money
you can do.
towards buying different cards,
Yeah.
making upgrades to the castle.
That's what they should do with Mario Odyssey 2. Like, make it like fully open world to where you can actually like.
Hell no, it's gonna be Mario Iliad, dude.
Go karting and whatever else. Whatever else you do on there. Yeah.
Mario Iliad.
Yeah, but then it's like one game. But then it's like, what is it? The Jack of all trades, master of nothing type thing, where none of the modes actually work that well. You can just play all of them, but they all kind of suck.
But you know what that sounds like, John? That sounds like this is where Mario is at in his chronology of games. This is when they've all stopped battling against each other, and now they're friends, and they're doing all this fun, casual stuff together.
Yeah,
like they're all just like hanging out.
Yeah, they're hanging out together.
But
Bowser, it was weird for a while, but we're cool now.
Yeah. I mean, everything's
all the links.
Everything's a stage play anyway, right? According to Mario Party 3, I think that's what they said.
Exactly.
Throw Mario Party in there. I like it.
Well, just Super Mario Brothers 3 was all a play too.
Yeah. Well, so it was like all the Paper Mario games were all plays. But yeah,
Mario 2 says it was all a dream.
Yeah, Mario 2 was all.
And so the only one that was real was Mario 1, and everything else has been an experience that's an.
And that was just some lunatic plumber that told us that story. Like, did he really go down that pipe, or did he just have a dream induced by too much sewage gas exposure?
It was all those mushrooms that he took. It just made him all over the place. Is there anything else you guys want to say about Mario Tennis Aces?
I think I covered everything.
Are you
Please,
playing?
Nintendo, if you're listening to our podcast, just make sure you update this guy.
Yeah,
it's a good game. It's got some nice, strong online components, but it's got to have long-term appeal to be an online game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope they're already adding a ranking thing, so that shows positivity. But update the single player so you can restart. That's what I'm saying. Are you planning on doing any other tennis events with this, Kevin?
So actually, funny enough, I have already booked a day for a new event that we're actually going to do at that Emporium over there in Logan Square.
Oh, nice.
And on July 24th, I'm going to do an all Nintendo Switch meetup.
Okay. Is that on the weekend? Is that a weekday? Like, what day is it?
No, that's a weekday.
Okay.
That's a Tuesday, if I'm not correct. Tuesday,
really?
July 24th.
Really?
And the whole concept is to get everyone together, bring their Switch, talk about and play the games that they have the most fun with, and then I'm going to pick a game or two that we're all going to in some way kind of play together. Some of it'll be flavor of the month, so I know a few things that'll be coming out next month that I think might be kind of interesting to jump on and play. But yeah, no, I'm actually looking to work with a couple of groups on this one and trying to create a monthly Switch meetup.
Oh, cool. Nice.
I think the Switch is like the the Switch is probably like the coolest experience of like if you bring everyone can bring their own console and ultimately play against one another. So yeah, I'm actually thinking about doing like a portion of it where there's still going to be Mario Tennis. Obviously Mario Kart is almost always going to be a part of, some type of Switch meetup, but so that's kind of what I've got planned for the next month.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that'll be fun. And then like with Splatoon, like when I went to that Splatoon 2 party, it was fun because people were like always breaking into groups to do salmon run and stuff like that. It was really cool.
Yep.
Because I brought my Switch to that, and I was like, I'm glad that I did because like everybody did. I guess you have to play multiplayer Splatoon, but it was cool because we had the main thing on the TV, but then there were enough people with it. There were probably like 2 or 3 other groups that were playing on their own, like doing their own So I think it was mostly salmon runs that they were doing, like 4-player stuff on the side.
And I think it's like a little cool kind of thing for people to kind of, meet one another, kind of get to know each other through, like private lobbies and stuff like that. Man, I think it'll be a ball. And I'm definitely going to have to. My buddy Kelvin, the guy who ended up winning last night, he's going to play this game for, a good while. Because he just likes it that much and he's really good at it. Yeah. And he's definitely going to try to find other people that are as good as him in this game. So
no, he'll find it online. Like I tried like right when I got Mario Tennis last week, I just jumped right online and there was somebody who had like 5,000 points already, and I'm like, oh my god, how did you? And he destroyed me. But I was like, man, you've been playing a lot. And I was playing it like I was playing that night, like Thursday night, because all their games release at like 11 digitally, so. I was playing it early, and somebody already had these many points, and it wasn't even really Friday yet, technically. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Yeah. It's crazy. But, I mean, some people, like, play the shit out of that, and I don't know, or maybe they got the Japanese one. I think that one comes out even earlier. But, yeah, I don't know if you're planning on getting Wolfenstein 2 digitally, but if you are, it's, I mean, they did this with Doom. They'll probably do it with Wolfenstein, but they launch it at, like, 11 p.m. on Thursday night, so you can play it way early if you get it digitally, which is awesome.
Now, so the only reason I sometimes don't get things digitally is because if I put my Switch out for people to play something specifically, they play everything I have on my system. Yeah. So they will play something else and delete all of my progress and data so that they could start a new something. Yeah. And it just drives me up a wall. So like I could imagine if I downloaded Mario Odyssey and someone started my game over again, like convention over, I would be livid. Hey, we're going out. Pack it up. Pack it up, guys.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, no, I understand.
Apparently, none of you have ever played a video game before. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I get that. Yeah, because I wish there was a way you could lock your profiles or something. Like you could make your profile unavailable.
I've called all of the companies and been like, "Hey, what's the security for if I got like 5 kids and I need to lock my stuff up?" And they're like, "There's no way to really stop them from doing it. Like you could stop them from playing for a long time. You could stop them from playing games that are mature rated or teen rated, but you cannot stop them from just playing something else." So
yeah, that sucks. I mean, there really should be a way
to
lock
nice Zelda file you got here. It'd be a shame if it just got deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever had
160 hours, let's make that 0 hours.
If I ever had
could you possibly use the parental app? And on the app you can restrict certain hours for certain players, right?
Yeah.
So could you restrict your own hours under your own profile when you go to your next convention?
Oh, so somebody can't use it?
I can restrict the hours, but it takes 2 seconds for them to go to another game and just leave it there. And the worst thing is that when people pick stuff that's unpopular, people leave it on something that's unpopular, and then people think that's the only game I have for the Switch, and they just leave it alone.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's weird.
Which is so easy.
Has Been Heroes, whatever that game's called. That's not the only game.
Yeah. No, I have other stuff on here. I promise.
I can't even remember the name of that game anymore.
Yeah, stop putting it on that other tennis game. Heroes? It's Has Been Heroes, I think. Yeah, like stop leaving it on fucking Bad Dudes, man. I got other stuff than that.
About all these games for you guys, and now nobody's even playing this thing because they think that I'm have Bad Dudes, and that's it on my Nintendo Switch.
See, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's so easy. You could just hit the home button and it just goes right to the menu. So, and I'm notorious for doing that. Like I would always do that at conventions. I'd be like, "What else do you got on here?" And I'd like just
do you got good
pop
stuff,
out and see.
right?
See, I was like, "I'm sure you got a game I haven't played yet. I want to try it out." I did that at a Midwest Gaming Classic, like not this year but last year, like when they had a Switch set up, and I'm like, "Yeah, what do you got on here?" And I was like playing Fast RMX and all that. I didn't delete any files of theirs, but it's always nice to see what else they got. And like this year, like the Odyssey one, nobody ever stopped playing it, so I didn't get to like hit the menu and see what other games I had on there because I really wanted to, but
everyone
was never
on Odyssey. Yeah,
it was never open, so I couldn't see what else was on there. But definitely July 24th, right at the Logan Square Emporium in Chicago. For anybody who's listening, you should definitely come check it out. Bring your Switch. I'll be on a movie at that time, but I'll try to make it out if I can. I don't know what my schedule will be like.
Okay.
But if I can make it out, I will because it'd be a fun thing to check out. And it's just I like the whole meetup thing where you can just play. You can just kind of play whatever you got, and just.
I have Tuesdays off of work, so I might show up.
You might come up and check it out.
It'd be kind of fun to like roll up to the city for a day and head home.
Yeah, I like that you're having more stuff at the Logan one. It's like right down the street, so I can just walk there. I mean, not that
it's a good location.
Not that the Wicker Park one is that far, but I don't have to take a bus or anything. I can just walk right up there.
Just walk up. Yeah.
So it's cool. Awesome. Definitely. And check out I Play Games. It's still I Play Games Nation, right? Or IPG Nation? Is that still you?
Yeah, IPGNation.com. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so you can be found there. Do you guys have any other... I think we're all good, right? On tennis and events and stuff. Unless you want to mention anything else that you have upcoming aside from that, Kevin.
I'll be at Anime Midwest next weekend.
Okay.
Up at the Rosemont. We'll be doing gaming up there. So a lot of what I'm doing is in preparation for that. So.
Yeah, I forgot that's coming up.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I know I said last night, but I'm sure you're planning on it. But Mario Party, when you do a party for that, like I got to be there early enough for the tournament for that because I played every single Mario Party game. I told you I made a belt out of cardboard, like a championship belt.
Trey's pretty into Mario Party. He's good at it.
I'm a hardcore Mario Party guy, so I would love to play any sort of competition with that game. Plus, I'm really excited about that game. That was like the one thing I liked the most out of E3. I think was Super Mario Party. So.
I'm still on Killer Queen Black. I'm kind of blown away that's coming along for us.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. It's coming to consoles. I agree.
I've never played Killer Queen, so I don't really know. But I mean, I will. I'll play it for sure. I think that's in September. But that'd be a fun one to play at a future Switch meetup as well.
Yeah,
we could do a full 8-player. Well, you could do some full 8-player, stuff. Well, I guess like how you were doing it with Splatoon, where like one of the switches is on the TV and everybody else is connected to that one. So it's kind of like So you can show some of it, and it does show everybody, but it's the best way to display it or stream it or whatever. Just
like you do with Smash, where it's the same screen for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that'll be a big one in December too, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, this has been NintenDomain episode 127. We're your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
I'm Jerry Mikowski.
John Nitter.
And
Kevin Fair.
Thanks for coming back, man. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Always a fun time with you guys, man.
Yeah, and I liked. I know you'd played a lot of tennis, so thanks for coming on.
Thanks
talking
for
about
the
that, especially.
Tips, man. I'm gonna put that. What'd you call it? The drop shot. I'm gonna put that to use more.
Yeah, it's a good one to do.
It definitely is a good one to have.
Yeah, the volley and drop shot. And you can catch our show. It posts every Friday morning. We have a website, NintenDomainPodcast.com. You can find us at YouTube, youtube.com/Fingmater, FINGMATER. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Nintendomain Podcast. I'm probably going to stream. I've been streaming a lot of Ys VIII and Doom on there lately, and I'm sure I'll play some Wolfenstein 2 as well. And you can find me at Nintendo_domain on Twitter. And Jeremy's on as JMaxStack also, right? You have a Twitter, right? Is it I Play Games, Kevin?
Yeah, no, it's KFair_IPG.
Okay.
They already took KFair 3, so.
Bastards. All right, well, then that's been our show. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Which is 3-on-3. 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 Street basketball. If you want to join in, you gotta answer the call. Go short back, doesn't make no difference at all. Cause when the whistle blows, it's just a free fall. Maybe better stand back, getting ready to burn. Take a 3-point shot, make everybody's head turn. That's just the way it goes. street fast. We're shooting 3-on-3, street basketball. If you wanna join in, you gotta answer the call. Tall, short, fast, and don't make no difference at all. Cause when the whistle blows, it's just a free fall. Baby, better stand back, getting ready to burn. Take a 3-point shot, make everybody's head turn. That's just the way it goes. Yeah, I'm the finest on the court and everybody knows. We're shooting 3-on-3, street basketball. If you wanna join in, you gotta answer the call. Tall, short, fast, and don't make no difference at all. Cause when the whistle blows, it's just a free fall. Baby, better stand back, getting, baby, better stand back, getting, baby, better stand back, getting. We're shooting 3-on-3. Baby, better stand back, getting, baby, better stand back, getting, baby, better stand back, getting. We're shooting 3-on-3, street fast. We're shooting